I'm so grateful that it's possible for us to meet in this way, and it's lovely to see you all. So thanks for showing up to practice this evening. I see so many of you that I recognize, and it's a real treat to me to be able to gather in a way that allows us to come from different places. So again, thanks for showing up. I usually cover the window behind me, and then the sun just broke out. I thought I didn't have to because it was so cloudy. But anyway, I think the halo effect will be going away soon. But hopefully you can see me okay now. Alyssa, you could just text me if you think it's too bad and I should fix it. But I'd love to start the way we start our Wednesday night group, which is to go from person to person, and I'll call names out simply to keep us from waiting a while to see who's going to volunteer next. And I'd love to just do a brief check-in. Last week, our check-in at this point in the call was a little longer than it often is in a Wednesday night group. Often in Wednesdays, we'll just say name, pronouns, and then you can pass if you'd like to. So I do want to acknowledge that. It's totally fine. If you wave and don't say anything, I'll trust that I should just move on. But last week, we left a little more space for people to express what's going on for them, just given the times we're in. So you're welcome to say a word or phrase. You're also welcome to say a little bit more about what you've been experiencing. I'll weave that into our meditation this evening, and then we, on Wednesday nights, usually go into dyads or sometimes triads. Alyssa figured out Zoom breakout sessions. So that was an adventure last week that worked. So we'll probably go into breakouts and then come back together for our group discussion. So let's begin with Tom. So Tom, you're still on mute. Alyssa,
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I just got unmuting rights. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm from California, in San Jose, in NorCal. It's nice to meet you all. I was invited by Kavi, and so, yeah, it's really cool to be in an actual, like, real sangha of people that are actually local to each other. So thanks. I'm Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Good to have you. Linnea, hello, welcome. Great to see you. Let's see, Alyssa, do you unmute Linnea, or does Linnea unmute?
I think I got it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Hi, I'm sorry, what was the prompt?
Name, pronouns, and what you're present to given everything that's going on. For some people, it could be just, this is just what I'm present to in this moment. For some people, it's sort of a little bit larger given everything that's going on in our world.
So my name's Linnea. I'm she, her, and yeah, just I'm alone in a tiny house, and so I'm very present to loneliness. And liking my space. If I have to be lonely, at least I love where I am physically. So.
Thanks, Linnea. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Kavi. You're still on mute, Kavi. Oh, okay. Kavi saying, please unmute me. So Alyssa, is that something you're doing on your end? Are you unmuting people?
Usually
Okay.
the users have options to unmute themselves. However, it's not letting us for some reason. So
Okay, got it.
yeah, just like all you know. Yeah, so name is Kavi. I go by he, him, they, them, theirs pronouns. Calling from Portland, Oregon. I say, as of what I've been present to, I've just been present to solitude, actually. Just enjoying looking at the brighter side of this COVID-19 situation and being proactive at the same time. And just recognizing that there are things that I cannot control. However, I'm grateful just to be here, actually, and just having the opportunity and the privilege of having community, Sangha, and just wise friends, or just a community of people that I know that want to connect with me during this time of what's it called? Isolation or just distancing. Yeah, and I know not everyone has that privilege, so I'm really grateful to have that being surrounded with everyone.
Thank you so much, Kavi. I'm glad you're here. Hey, Lindsay.
Hi, my name is Lindsay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Lindsay. I'm from Portland, and she, her pronouns. I have a lot of mix of feelings of what's going on, I guess. Feeling very just kind of uncertain and anxious about what's happening right now and what might happen in the future. And then also a combination of feeling very grateful that I have a job and I can keep working, and feeling really grateful for my cat who's keeping me company, because otherwise I've definitely been feeling a lot of loneliness as I live by myself. So that's been pretty difficult, I would say. But yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Marie Taylor, hello, my friend.
Hello. So good to see all of you. I'm Marie Taylor. I use she, her pronouns. I am vacillating a lot. Sometimes I'm feeling somewhat untethered, trying to figure out how I want to spend my time and energy. And then sometimes I'm feeling really settled in my space. I definitely have a strong experience of touch deprivation. That's been really hard for me. My chickens are not good cuddlers.
Oh, thanks for sharing. I'm really glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
All right, Allison. Hi.
Hi, I'm Allison. I use she, her pronouns. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I am present to just being absolutely grateful that you're doing this online. I've been missing you so much and missing having community. And I moved here from my husband's education grad school, and I miss Portland a lot, and I haven't yet found my people here, even though it's been about a year. And so I'm so grateful. And I'm also present to the fact that I'm moving on Monday. We just bought a house, and in the middle of all this madness, thank you, we're moving to our first house, and I'm packing up everything. And so everybody's in this like shelter in place, and I'm in this move out of shelter. So it's pretty bonkers, and I'm really glad to have some stillness tonight.
Great. Really glad to see you. I'm so glad this worked. Thank you. Hey, Cheryl. Still on mute. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
We gotcha.
Okay. Cheryl, female, she, her. I'm vacillating from being really concerned about the people in my life that are on the front lines in the medical community. I have nurses and doctors in my life, and then being grateful for the path of mindfulness and meditation, that it's like this is what we've been practicing for, apparently. And I can find the calm in the storm.
Yeah. Thank you, Cheryl. Practicing on the straightaways for the curves. We're in a curve. Thank you. Hi, Micah.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. My name's Micah. I use he, him pronouns. Right now I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, where 4 or 5 years ago I was part of Peace in Schools with Caverly. And I'm really excited to be here because I've missed it a lot. And obviously being halfway across the country is not helpful to, participate in these things. So I'm really happy to be here. In terms of how I've been doing, it's kind of weird because I'm not super stressed out about it, even though I'm taking it really seriously. And I think part of that is that I'm really introverted and I don't really go anywhere anyway. So like it doesn't seem like it's impacting me particularly a lot more. I don't know, it's kind of surreal to me, but.
Yeah. Micah, I'm so glad you showed up. It's good
Thank
to
you.
see you. Let's see. I don't see a name yet, but I know that's Ashley. Hi, Ashley.
Caverly, good to see you.
You too.
I'm present to a lot of gratitude for the opportunity to practice with you and familiar faces and lots of people I don't know too. I had a pretty bad injury a few weeks after our New Year's retreat, so I've been living this quarantine life since about the end of January. So it hasn't felt like a lot of, like, it's kind of my new normal, but you know, the level of concern I have for people on the front lines, people who don't have income like they used to, has been a shift for me. But otherwise, I've settled into it, and now live with my partner unexpectedly. So yeah, I feel like the quarantine has been with me for a long time, and I think that's mostly what I'm present.
Ashley, thanks for being here, and thanks for letting me know. I didn't know about that injury, so I'm glad you're well enough to join the call. Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm from Portland. This is my first time here. Anna invited me to join them. And I think I'm present, have been present in thought to gratitude during this time of chaos. Hope that we all will circle around one another and family and friendships.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. Thanks for naming those things. Yeah, and welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks for telling a friend, Anna. Oh, Kathleen, hello.
Hello.
Where are you?
Good to see you. I'm in Texas, McKinney, Texas, in my bedroom because it's 9 o'clock at night here, or 9:15. And pronouns she, her. I'm really grateful to be here because I used to live in Portland and now I'm in Texas because of my husband. And I haven't found a Sangha. So to connect this way, although under these circumstances, it's not ideal, but I was just really grateful to get that email and be like, yay, I can join a meditation. And I'm present to being kind of freaked out. I wasn't freaked out, but then we got word today that someone we know is not in good shape in Connecticut, and that kind of hit home. And my husband is a first responder, and so he doesn't have the same ability to just work from home and be on lockdown. So he's every third day out there, and his crew is, picking up people who have symptoms, who may or may not have, the coronavirus. And we're due to have our second child any day now.
Wow.
Yeah, which is so awesome and exciting, and also like, what a strange time to, welcome this baby. It's so there's like kind of like, hurry up, baby, no, come when you're ready, and also like, let's make sure dad's safe, and the whole thing. So I have a lot of feelings, and I'm very out of practice with meditation, so I haven't been preparing for the curve with the straight lines. I've just been, I don't know what I've been doing, but not this. So I'm grateful to be here. It's really good to see you, Caverly.
It's really good to see you. And I didn't know you were pregnant again, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's always now. So no worries about whatever we think of as past. You're here now, and I'm really grateful you're touching back in with practice now. Thank you. Hello, Joyce in Sacramento.
Yes, I'm Joyce in Sacramento.
And Joyce, just because we have so many Peace in Schools people on the call, Marie, Micah, Kavi, I just have to announce that you're Janice's mom, because so many people on this call might not even realize that. And you're famous really around here. I don't know if Jaden put together that that's who you are, but you are.
Yeah. Anyway, I am in Sacramento, and she, her pronouns, and I'm just present to a lot of uncertainty and just kind of being adrift, like I don't even know what day it is, or my sister today didn't even know what month it was. You know, it's just, yeah, every day is, there's nothing to anchor me to, because all of the activities that I normally do on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever are off. So every day is just the same as the day before, and tomorrow is the same as today, and which in some ways is lovely, but just very different, very unusual for me.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. Hearing you. Jaden, hello, dear.
Good evening. Jaden, he, him. And I am actually present to a lot of busyness. Originally this was spring break, and I had taken the week off from everything because I had been so busy in life. And now there's a lot of people that need connection and or support. And I'm an introvert. Like quarantine, I was saying, is made for introverts. However, I'm also a helper and caretaker, and so I want to be there for people. And so that's what's been happening. And so at no fault of anyone else, it's my own doing that I am way busier than I want to be this week.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for showing up to practice with the community, even though you're busy. Appreciate it.
Indeed, this is one of the things that was going to go. And I was like, I haven't been in a while.
Thanks, Jaden.
Yep.
Great to see you. Hi, Ingrid. And Ingrid's housemate, you'll have to remind me of your name too. So, yeah. Hi.
Yep. Hi.
Hi.
Jeff, do you want to go first?
Jeff.
Sure. I use he, him pronouns, and I have experienced some joy today because I got the news that I have a new niece, and she was born at 1 a.m. this morning.
Wow.
Which is super exciting, and things went well, and both the mother and the baby are good after some major drama this morning. But yeah, they had a lot of support, and it's just my brother in there right now who is taking care of the kid because they won't let anybody else in, but they're doing really well, which is great.
Great, thanks, Jeff.
I'm Ingrid, and I use she, her pronouns. And yeah, I'm feeling also really untethered. I think that was a great word, whoever used it earlier. I feel like I have a hard time balancing the urgency and the seriousness of the situation, and feeling this anxiety towards, like, you know, my family and how seriously they're taking it or not. But then also balancing that with, like, spring is still beautiful and babies are still being born, and we're most of, you know, like many of us are still okay. And yeah, so just trying to balance optimism, hope with, like, yeah, reckoning with the severity of the situation. So, and it, yeah, also my spring break, and it doesn't feel like spring break. It feels like a long weekend that will never end, and I don't know what's going to happen on Monday. So good to be here.
We're with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ingrid. All right. The order of people switched on me a little bit. So Alyssa, maybe you can help me track whether I'm forgetting anyone, or type in the side if I do. But let's go down to LR. You just need to unmute yourself when you're ready.
Okay. Lauren, she, her pronouns in Portland, Oregon. And I'm really present to the feelings of transition and I would say curiosity in that. Just lots of moving parts and not a lot of certainty.
Yeah. Thank you, Lauren. Glad you're here. Hi, Tiffany and partner.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Tiffany, she, her pronouns. We're in Portland, Oregon. Oh, and if you can see him, this is Gecko, the cat. And yeah, I have been mostly extremely grateful for, we have the good fortune of my work is rather steady. So that's nice. We also have some challenges. Bryce cannot work right now. And I was embarking on a major career shift right as this happened. So now everything is on hold. So I'm finding it challenging. I want to have control and I don't have control. And it's a very good lesson for me. I'm grateful for it, even though it's challenging. It's challenging right now.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up in the midst of that challenge, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Hi, Bryce.
Hi, Caverly. Look like an angel. It's amazing.
Oh, well, you know, it's has nothing to do with me, I assure you.
Oh, looks, darling. Yeah, I am grateful to be in a lovely home with a lovely partner and a lovely cat. We spend some time at home on the regular, so it's been kind of nice in certain ways. I've really benefited from something you pointed out to us the last time we were with you live, of the connectiveness and the connective nature of this happening. I really have been hyper present to that. I don't think other than maybe the Olympics, have I been a part of something or present to anything that is a worldwide awareness, and that is really profound. Also, embarking on a business. We both of us were just like, I know, spring, let's start something new. So I am still starting a coaching business. It just isn't looking quite like I thought it would. These first steps are different than I thought, slightly different gear, and less of a crossfade from what I was doing, because what I was doing stopped happening. So it is, I'm focusing on the positivity and the opportunities as much as possible. Waves of fear and paranoia at times, despondence and sort of uncertainty is certainly an echo that I keep hearing tonight, and certainly resonates, and I can relate. But we aren't dead. So in the meantime, here we are.
In the meantime, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully said.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi, my name is Patricia. I'm from San Jose, Northern California. And I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for hosting this get together. I am going through a lot of ups and downs with the it's more turmoil in my head than anywhere else, but it is an opportunity to take a break and sit back and think about things, and I'm trying to do that without scaring myself about this whole situation. I am busy doing projects, and that's good because I always seem to be too busy to do them. Oops, here's my cat. Wanting to get in on it. Anyway, I'm very grateful to be here, and thank you, Tom, for inviting me. This is my first time at Dharma Recovery, and I'm very grateful to be here. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, Tom, for spreading the word. Welcome. All right, Karen, hello.
Hi, I'm Karen. I go by she and her. And I can't remember how I found out about this. I think it was my friend who wasn't now able to make it. Yeah, everything you guys have described, the plethora of those emotions. I'm self-employed and thinking about calling this a working sabbatical. Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. And where are you calling in from?
Portland, Oregon.
Great. Thanks, Karen. Anna.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, really good to see you and
You
everybody. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here, and I'm so grateful that you're putting these online, so it makes it easy to dial in. And I've been feeling extremely grateful for practice and really leaning on it tremendously. You know, it's been like for everybody a roller coaster, and so insomnia sometimes, and you know, having trouble unhooking from my phone and reading the news, and so just leaning into tools from all the years, you know, just guided imageries if that's what works for me. And yeah, so just really I'm grateful for practice and for my friends and family who've really come together and just prioritized staying connected during this crazy time. And so lots of gratitude.
Thank you, Anna. Good to see you.
You too.
Hi, Deborah.
I think I'm unmuted now.
We got you.
It's just so nice to be here. I really have missed practicing, and I just really like being around people, and I always felt like I was kind of flooded because my job is so people oriented, and I thought I was like secretly an introvert, but this is actually showing me that I like the physicality of being around people. I like seeing them and smelling them and touching them, and so for me it's been very challenging. And I was really anxious, and now I'm kind of just handling things and baking a lot. I think we're all going to gain like 20 pounds by the time we get out. When this all began, I was with my parents who are 90 and 88 in North Carolina, and their locality wasn't really taking it that seriously. So by the time I got back here, the flight was very odd. It was like completely empty in Atlanta airport at 5 o'clock. And then I got back to Portland and we're completely shut down. So yeah, just wrapping my head around the whole thing. And I'm mostly just worried about like people I perceive as more vulnerable. And I'm also really in touch with how badly I do with open-ended situations, which really all of life is that way. Like I just want someone to tell me, oh, May 1st, you know, we're going to go back to normal. And then I'm like, I'm cool with that. You know, I can count it down. So that's my challenge right now, is to deal with the fact that I don't really know. And then realizing that's true for so many things, actually.
True all the time. We just tend to forget it more of the time. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for naming it. Good to see you, Deborah. Jackie, hello and welcome.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm Jackie, she, her pronouns, and I live in Portland. And I have just been lucky enough to have Caverly pop into my life over the past few months. And so I'm just following the thread of Caverly to lead me to beautiful places, which it always seems to do. So yeah, it's like you've all said, and I have 2 teenage girls who at some moments get freaked out and at some moments have no clue that anything is wrong is going on in the world. Yeah, just trying to hold the space for them and myself, and just actually live the words that I talk about a lot. So I feel like I'm being called to action. So thanks.
Jackie, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. Yeah. All right. Nachi. Hello, Nachi.
How you doing, Caverly?
Good. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, for sure. Hi everyone, Nachi, he, him. I'm doing okay. I'm just taking it day by day. I've been keeping busy and we're just keeping at it, keeping my chin up.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Toby, hi.
Hi, I'm Toby. I live in Oregon and Portland. I'm feeling present to also trying to find that balance between anticipation and also trying to just keep present. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Good time for practice. Thanks, Toby. All right, Alyssa, are you the last one for a check-in? Again, there's a little bit of, I don't know if this is happening for you all, but you all are like changing Brady Bunch spots. So I'm trying to track that I got everyone, and I think I did. What do you think, Alyssa? How about tap in the sidebar if you haven't gotten to say hello yet and you'd like to. But Alyssa, why don't you I'd love to hear from you if you're up for saying how you're doing.
Okay. I'm trying to keep track as well, but it's kind of difficult.
It is, it's tricky. We just have to leave it to y'all. Just type it in if you haven't said hello. Otherwise, yeah, we'll hear from Melissa and then we'll meditate.
Yeah, last week was a little easier. I'm present to like feelings of well, at the beginning of this call, I was feeling a lot of frustration and kind of yeah, I would say frustration. But kind of after hearing all of you speak, there is kind of some grounding based on what I hear, because it's clear that we're all not alone. Like, we all feel similar things, and I've felt, most, if not all, of the things you all are experiencing. So yeah, the past few minutes have been pretty grounding.
Thanks, Alyssa. I've been feeling the same way. Appreciate that. All right, I don't see anything in the sidebar, so we're going to move straight into a meditation. We're going to meditate for half an hour, and I very much encourage you, folks who practice with us on our Wednesday night sits know that there's a lot of flexibility in how we approach practice through Presence Collective. There's a lot of, I like to think of it as generosity of spirit. If you come and your back is bothering you, you can lay down and meditate with us on your back. If you are finding a practice of discipline to be really helpful, disciplining the mind and sitting in a very traditional posture is supportive to your practice, wonderful. In this specific time, I feel especially called to underline the importance of listening to the body and practicing kindness, being really gentle with ourselves in the face of everything that's going on. So take care of yourself and come into any position that works best for you for now. This is also one of those nice moments where, as we settle in, you could take a minute to listen to the body, notice if you have any need to stretch or adjust. I'm really grateful that we do these check-ins before I guide the sit, because as Alyssa just mentioned, it seems that there's such a collective tenor, collective tone, if you will. Like if we were creating music together, I can hear the harmony. So I invite us to begin by hearing the tone of this particular collective in this particular moment. If you enjoy that image, could be interesting to play with. What is the note or notes of this collective sound? If we were creating music together, what is the sound of now? Just noticing as we settle in. And before I ring the bell, taking 3 of the longest and deepest inhalations and exhalations you've taken yet today. I invite you to begin this meditation by enjoying the breath. Especially in moments that feel full of anxiety or worry. We may, due to practice, remember to attend to the breath. But when we're in such moments, it rarely occurs to us to pause and enjoy the breath. The way you might enjoy being at the beach and just sensing the rhythm of the waves, the sound, the rhythmic sound of the ocean. Just allow yourself to enjoy the breath in that way. In the recognition that it's something happening on its own. You don't need to control it, adjust it, change it. It simply is. I wanted to begin this meditation with something that I wrote this morning, posted on Instagram and Facebook. If you've already seen it, just notice what arises as you hear it again. We cannot control what happens. We can affect that we treat ourselves and each other with care, as if precious, because we are. Infinite, unbreakable, and precious, all at the same time. So take this moment to breathe into your direct experience of preciousness. What arises as you tap into your own preciousness? And again, the preciousness while holding this awareness that you are also that which is unbreakable, infinite. As Zen Master Bankei said, unborn, undying. So just resting in this paradox, precious and unbreakable in the same instant. Perhaps as others shared, you felt their preciousness, their uniqueness, their specialness, their sweetness. Touching that in others and touching that in ourselves. So for this meditation, rather than having the attention move from the next headline to the next headline, or from one thought to another, I invite you to allow the attention to simply rest in this preciousness. The preciousness of your own being. See if you can touch the way in which this preciousness of being isn't something that's earned. Or gained through having met a conditioned standard. I'm referring to something inherent and intrinsic. Innate, and again, indestructible. With so much uncertainty, there's never been a better time than now to rest the attention in what's indestructible. Another way I could speak about this is that it's a perfect time to seek the eternal. To know the eternal. And to recognize ourselves as the eternal. Impermanence has always been the nature of this world. It's simply very clear to us now. So in all of the shifting and the changing, our meditations particularly shine as opportunities to rest in the eternal. Given that we're all modulations of this same eternal consciousness, this notion of loneliness becomes revealed as a creation. It doesn't mean we don't experience it as real when we're experiencing it. But it can be helpful in practice to recognize it as a created notion. And to remind ourselves in a very experiential, grounded way that in this reality of interconnection, it's not possible to be alone. We can quarantine our bodies in various physical locations. So of course we can be alone in this particular physical plane sense. That's a bit like saying the two waves near each other crashing on this shore are both completely alone, rather than recognizing them as separate on one level, but on a deeper level, part of the same ocean. So here we are swimming together. Breathing together. Resting as our infinite, unbreakable, precious selves together. We'll be together in silence for the last 10 minutes. All right, thank you. But the way group discussion works is that for group discussions, the teachings come out of whatever is brought into the room. So it's fine to bring up anything you wish to talk about. If you've never practiced with us before, you could ask a question about meditation or inquire into something regarding your own life or practice or things happening in your life that you want to bring more consciousness to. So totally open. And Alyssa, remind me, how did we last time call on folks? Was it just we saw folks wave or make gusho?
So you can raise your hand in the chat box, or you can make gusho.
Great. So I'll look around for a gusho, which at the monastery where I trained, that just meant my heart and your heart are one. So if I say gusho, that's what I'm referencing. But you can wave to me, or you could, just put something in the chat bar. Yeah, and Ashley, thanks for acknowledging Cheryl wasn't able to share in your group, but maybe next time. Give us a couple extra minutes. Okay, good to know. That's actually really helpful. Type in the chat bar if like 2 minutes per person just felt too short. That's good to know. We're okay. Same for Jackie. Thanks for letting us know, Kavi. Yeah, it can be tricky to keep track of time in our own groups, but thank you. We, through Peace in Schools, like to talk about, and Presence Collective, but especially when working with young people through Peace in Schools, we talk a lot about trusting that we're all adequate to our own life experience. So we'll practice that here too. Toby, would you like to chime in, speak?
Hi.
Hi.
When you were talking about the eternal, I was wondering if you could share more on what you mean when you say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to begin by referencing Zen Master Bankei. Are you familiar with Bankei, Toby?
No.
If this interests you and you're interested in particularly checking out some old school Zen, some Zen Master Bankei was an old Zen master, and there's a terrific book called The Unborn, and it speaks to what it's like. It was Bankei's way of pointing to true nature. So the unborn points to the most intimate, unbreakable nature of our own being. Never born, never dying. So we could also describe it as pure consciousness itself. When I mentioned seeking the eternal, I'm pointing to during times, especially times where things can feel quite chaotic or unsettling, I'm pointing to the power of the practice of tracing the attention back to its own source, tracing the attention back to the recognition of who we authentically are, tracing attention back to true nature, we could say. And that true nature is unbreakable, undying, infinite, whole. So that's what I'm referencing in those moments.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anything about that from your own experience you'd like to speak to, or does that resonate? Or please feel free to speak to your own experience of that if you wish.
I think it brought up some more questions for me when you talk about consciousness, and then when you talk about what I heard was there's an innate essence in us, and so I'm trying to think about how that is removed from ego or our sense of identity, and then how that relates then to consciousness. Yeah. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really excellent question. And I found in practice that it's incredibly helpful to distinguish between ego and this unborn, infinite, undying mind that Zen Master Bankei talked about. And that in every spiritual tradition I can find is pointed to in some way or another, whether it's talked about as pure consciousness or true nature. So one way that I like to frame or think about the ego is that the ego is the illusion of a self that is separate from life, or it's the activity of the conditioned mind. That activity of the conditioned mind is actually arising in that vast unborn mind. But when we're identified with it, we see ourselves as separate, and therefore, as separate entities, could experience loneliness. Again, that I made reference to the way in which it's not that loneliness isn't a real experience. Anything you experience is a real experience, right? But to get to the nature of that experience can be very helpful. For example, if I am identified with a lot of negative self-talk, would you be, and I was describing to you that I'm stuck in it and I'm believing I'm not worth anything and I'm no good and I should not take on that pursuit. I for whatever reason, my attention's going to Bryce talking about like new ventures, right? But today I'm caught in that negative self-talk. I shouldn't try something new. It's too much of a risk, whatever my conditioned story is, right? You could probably easily see and encourage me. You could probably easily see that feels real, and therefore there's a reality to that experience, but it's not actually true. It's not truth. It's a creation. That creation keeps in place the illusion of a self that is separate from life. It's the activity of the conditioned mind. Without the identification with the activity of the conditioned mind, it doesn't actually exist. Does that resonate?
Yeah, I think that makes a little more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, really useful question. Thank you. Tiffany, were you just making gusho or did you have a comment? Just making gusho, great. Let's see, Allison, great, hi.
Hey, I just wanted to speak quickly to that concept with regard to the physicality of some of our current experience, specifically with sickness. And my husband and I have presumptively have had pretty mild cases of COVID, and it's, fevers and coughs and what have you. And it's been very interesting to be in returning to my direct experience of a physical symptoms and not getting caught up into these concepts of what it could turn into or what it was or what it could possibly be. And that's been a very interesting practice of what is happening right now? What does this feel like right now? Independent of what it could mean or what it portends. And I've really been appreciating that practice. And I just, even before you sent the email of this coming up, I had your voice in my head, Caverly, of not getting caught up in the story of the physicality of the meaning of the physicality, and instead just being present to illness as it exists in the present moment. And I just wanted to speak to that in case.
Yeah. It's incredibly important. It's really useful. Just today I was thinking this is a time in which you've been around me a bit, so you know that I've, over the last few years, been focusing more and more on releasing some of our conditioned tendencies to, I think, in our cultural context and the context of whiteness, over-identify with discipline, like feeling that we need to bring this mind of discipline and therefore harshness based on how we've been conditioned to our practice. So I've been more and more over the years encouraging people to soften in their practice. But just today, I had the realization that this is actually a time to be focusing on a type of vigilance in practice. And to me, that vigilance is the vigilance of not allowing unwanted thoughts to find parking space in our mind. To recognize that these thoughts, for example, that are just stirring the soup of fear and worry and anxiety, or stirring the soup of separateness, reaffirming the story that because my physical body is separate than your physical body, we must be separate, and I'm alone, and you're sick, and I'm not, and what that means. And as you said, these stories, it's a really good time to be vigilant in our practice, to notice when those are arising, and to harness our own capacity to redirect the attention. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you bringing that forward. Kavi, you said that you are raising your hand.
Wow. Well, thanks, Caverly. Thank you. And thank everyone. It's pretty awesome seeing everyone around from the US. I always enjoy seeing people that are outside of Portland, like meeting other people, because it can kind of get stale for me. However, I say during the practice session, I got present to ego confrontation, and then the thing that came up to me in my practice was realizing that words, language is so limited, and the words themselves don't really know who they are or what they mean, because like I've been noticing like myself and many other people and people in the media give projection to the word isolation and projection to the word solitude and projections to these words like loneliness. And it's just been an insight for myself through exploring non-duality, and I just found it very interesting. I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, thank you. It's again, it's useful to be vigilant about what we're making things mean. You've heard me, Kavi, talk about how the conditioned mind is a meaning-making machine. So again, attending to what am I conditioned to make things mean? My own sickness, what am I conditioned to make that mean? Having lost my job temporarily or permanently, what am I conditioned to make that mean?
Exactly. What does it mean conditionally?
Yeah.
And also I do notice like it can bring up trauma, and these words can bring up trauma. These words can be bringing up, it's just projections. It's more about the projections usually, and what the conditioning really is from. It just doesn't mean much to me. It doesn't mean much to me. In other words, and it was just interesting how for myself, I would use different words that have a meaning for me. However, I still recognize I may be projecting. I don't know. I might be projecting my own meaning to a word, which doesn't know itself. What does it mean for them? And it was just, it's just language is so interesting. Language in English language is so interesting, regardless of what language it is, because there's just so much projection the conditioned mind likes to throw out on it. And everyone's just think about the word isolation. Everyone, and I recognize I recognize my conditioned self, my conditioned person, like myself being, is like wants to be attached to that word. However, I'm just not really, because it just doesn't have much meaning for me at the moment. Probably because my meaning of isolation has changed since I live in a monastery, where the media or other people who may not have that experience may see living in a monastery as isolating, when really that's not what isolation really is for how I see it.
Yeah, that wasn't your
Yeah.
actual experience. Mhm.
Not my actual experience, for sure.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kavi. Or was there more? Were you about to?
Not really. I was just grateful that you're listening. I would just say that I also took this insight from Rupert Spira's work too, because I've been following his work since this year. It's been very impactful. Listening to his interviews, watching his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I thought you might enjoy him. I'm glad you took me up on that suggestion. Great, Kavi.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Likewise. Thank you, Cav.
What else are you noticing or present to? Please. Yes, hi. And so you'll have to tell us your name, because I'm reading white latte. And I think you're still on mute, so.
That's my email address. My name is Deborah, and I came in late. So hello, you,
Hi,
Caverly,
Deborah.
and everybody else.
Yeah, we did a check-in at the beginning, but I'm really glad you joined. And just for future reference, it's absolutely fine to come and go in these calls. And they're, as you know, they're being recorded. You could catch part later or not at all. But yeah, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, I'm in New Zealand, so I had a little confusion about the time, which I don't know anyway.
Well, my goodness, how did you find out about this?
I've known you from Worldwide Insight.
Oh, great.
And I took a Bridge to Happiness class with
Oh,
you
lovely.
a year ago, not this year, but in 2019. So,
great. Thank you.
Anyway, so I'm glad to be here. And
Good
as
to see you.
I mentioned in the breakout group, I live in New Zealand, and today is the first day. We have a nationwide lockdown, and so today is our first day. So it's very different. I mean, we're very unique in the world because of our geography and the fact that we can do that and close all of our borders. And so anyway, it's an interesting day.
Wow.
It's an interesting day. But one of the things that just has come up for me in anticipation of this day, which we've only known for 2 days was going to happen, was the notion of freedom.
Mm.
You know, in our practice, we know that freedom is about freedom from our reactivity and conditioning. But part of that conditioning is our freedom out in the world to make choices to do whatever we want to do. So, you know, it's interesting to just, you know, I can't go do things I want to go do. And, but I'm still free.
It's such an important point, Deborah. Like I'm reflecting on the various people who have been imprisoned. I think the most famous one that comes to mind is Nelson Mandela, who, I mean, really lost their external freedom, their physical plane freedom in a very dramatic way. And it could be an interesting time, it occurs to me, for you to be looking and reading the work of various people who have been able to access freedom in circumstances that didn't reflect freedom externally at all.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a good point, you know, because we have less distraction, and we know that's the big seductress, you know, so.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. I was just speaking with someone the other day who is virtually on an island, a very remote beach place. You know, this person is experiencing time in this remote beach place. And because of the remoteness of the location, it can look like there's a lot of freedom. You know, she can go all over in the natural surrounding, can take a trip in the car for quite some time. And what struck me was that this person was recognizing that there wasn't true freedom being accessed because they had gone to that location out of avoidance for being with other, like being in quarantine with other people that she finds difficult. So she has this more, from the outside, it looks as though she has more freedom than the rest of us might have. But internally, she was experiencing a deep lack of freedom. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting time, I think, to unhook the external and the internal, to not make assumptions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you pointed to that. Yeah, it speaks again to this theme that arose in today's call about loneliness. This idea that because our physical bodies are in separate locations, it's almost as though many of us are conditioned to feel as though that the natural byproduct of that is going to be loneliness, rather than pausing to question, what is the nature of this loneliness? Is that really based on truth, or is it wrapped up in all of my conditioned beliefs?
Yeah, because it's interesting. You experience that on retreat, where you're silent and you're not looking at anybody, but it makes such a strong sense of community. It's
Totally.
It's such a paradox.
Totally. And I don't know about you, but I can reveal that I've been to countless social gatherings, especially back in college. I can remember social gatherings where I was so lonely. There were so many people around me.
Yeah.
And I was deeply lonely.
Yeah.
So that unhooking is useful. What does it mean to be at home in ourselves, resting in the infinite, the eternal, no matter where we are, no matter what our bodies have the capacity to do? Whether we're sick, as Allison was pointing to, or whether we're healthy.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, I just realized that we're at our time, and I would love to, Bryce, sorry, I think I just saw your hand, so please join us again next week if you're able. And I do want to honor the time, because even though I'm giving folks plenty of leeway to come and go, if you'd like to stay through the end, I'd like to make a commitment to honoring the time to the best of my ability. So we'll close out now, and I do believe Alyssa has some announcements before we close.
I just want to talk about some upcoming things. There's a couple of things that are in the works, and they kind of just happened really quickly. So Caverly got asked to teach, if you know Worldwide Insight or Realize Media, they created a new platform. They merged, and they're now called Sangha Live, and Caverly will be leading the morning meditations next week, either 8 or 9 a.m., time to be confirmed. But
Martin Allward, so Deborah, this speaks to you specifically since you learned about me through that platform. Martin Allward started this incredible, great way to host Dharma teachers from around the world. And so he's been leading these morning meditations, and he invited me today to do the ones for the US. So I don't know what time that'll be for you, Deborah, but I'll be doing them at 8 or 9 in the morning.
Thank you.
West Coast time. And then we are building out Presence Collective. So we are in the works of creating a new website, and to kind of meet the times and the desire of the teachers to kind of spread their teachings we are going to launch this online webinar on Mondays and Fridays. So Presence Collective will now, in conjunction with the Wednesday night sits, be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday online, starting next Monday. Time to be confirmed, but it should be Monday at 4 p.m. And these are going to be an hour long each. So Monday, Friday, hour long each. Wednesday night sits stays the same with Caverly. Anything you want to add to that?
I'm just glad we're doing it.
And then we have a retreat coming up in July, and we are going to monitor this event and have it either way, either in person or online. So we encourage you to sign up, and we're going to be launching a new registration soon so that you won't have to pay for or put a deposit down for the room and just the retreat management fee, so that either way it's gonna cover the Presence Collective fees. And then if it happens to be in person, then you'll like get to book your room. And if it's online, then you're all paid for. If you are new and you're not on the mailing list, feel free to message me or email me your email so I can put you on our mailing list. And then, as always, this group is donation-based, no one turned away for lack of funds. Our suggested sliding scale would be $10, $12, and $15. But we're here to support you in these times and welcome anything you're able to give. I'm going to put the donation form, the online donation form, in the chat box. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate being with you all tonight. Thank you so much, and look forward to gathering for practice again soon. Good night.